Unit 2, Chapter 3, Population Composition. People of any country are diverse in many respects. Each person is unique in her or his own way. People can be distinguished by their age, sex, and their place of residence. Some of the other distinguishing attributes of the population are occupation, education, and life expectancy. Sex composition. The number of women and men in a country is an important demographic characteristic. The ratio between the number of women and men in the population is called the sex ratio. In some countries, it is calculated by using the formula male population by female population into 1000 or the number of males per 1000 females. In India, the sex ratio is worked out using the formula female population by male population into 1000 or the number of females per thousands male. The sex ratio is an important information about the status of women in a country. In regions where gender discrimination is rampant, the sex ratio is bound to be unfavorable to women. Such areas are those where the practice of female foeticide, female infanticide, and domestic violence against women are prevalent. One of the reasons could be lower socio-economic status of women in these areas. You must remember that more women in the population does not mean they have a better status. It could be that the men might have migrated to other areas for employment. Natural advantage versus social disadvantage. Natural advantage versus social disadvantage. Females have a biological advantage over males as they tend to be more resilient than males, yet this advantage is cancelled out by the social disadvantages or discriminations that they face. On an average, the world population reflects a sex ratio of 102 males per 100 females. The highest sex ratio in the world has been recorded in Latvia, where there are 85 males per 100 females. In contrast, in Qatar, there are 311 males per 100 females. The world pattern of sex ratio does not exhibit variations in the developed regions of the world. The sex ratio is favorable for females in 139 countries of the world and unfavorable for them in the remaining 72 countries listed by the United Nations. In general, Asia has a low sex ratio. Countries like China, India, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan have a lower sex ratio. On the other extreme is greater part of Europe, including Russia, where males are in minority. A deficit of males in the population of many European countries is attributed to better status of women and better status of women and an excessively male-dominated out-migration to different parts of the world in the past. Age structure. Age structure represents the number of people of different age groups. This is an important indicator of population composition, since a large size of population in the age group of 15 to 59 indicates a large working population. A greater proportion of population above 60 years represent an aging population, which requires more expenditure on healthcare facilities. Similarly, high proportion of young population would mean that the region has a high birth rate and the population is youthful. Age-sex pyramid. The age-sex structure of a population refers to the number of females and males in different age groups. A population pyramid is used to show the age-sex structure of the population. The shape of the population pyramid reflects the characteristics of the population. The left side shows the percentage of males while the right side shows the percentage of women in each age group. Figure and show different types of population pyramids. Expanding populations. The age-sex pyramid of Nigeria, as you can see, is a triangular shaped pyramid with a wide base and is typical of less developed countries. These have larger populations in lower age groups due to high birth rates. If you construct the pyramid of Bangladesh and Mexico, it would look the same. Expanding population. Nigeria, male, female, age group years. Constant population. Australia's age-sex pyramid is bell-shaped and tapered towards the top. This shows birth and death rates are almost equal, leading to a near constant population. Australia, constant population, male, female. Declining populations, the Japan pyramid has a narrow base and tapered tops showing low birth and death rates. The population growth in developed countries is usually zero or negative. Declining population, Japan, male, female. Activity. Draw a population pyramid of the children in your school and describe its characteristics. Do this and comment this. Aging population. Population aging is a process by which the share of the older population becomes proportionally larger. This is a new phenomenon of the 20th century. In most of the developed countries of the world, population in higher age groups has increased due to increased life expectancy. With a reduction in birth rates, the proportion of children in the population has declined. Rural-urban composition. The division of population into rural and urban is based on the residents. The division is necessary because rural and urban lifestyles differ from each other in terms of their livelihood and social condition. The age, sex, occupational structure, density of population, and level of development vary between rural and urban areas. The criteria for differentiating rural and urban population varies from country to country. In general terms, rural areas are those where people are engaged in primary activity and urban areas are those where majority of the working population is engaged in non-primary activities. Figure shows rural-urban sex composition of selected countries. The rural and urban differences in sex ratio in Canada and West European countries like Finland are just the opposite of those in African and Asian countries like Zimbabwe and Nepal respectively. In Western countries, males outnumber females in rural areas and females outnumber the males in urban areas. In countries like Nepal, Pakistan, and India, the case is reversed. The excesses of females in urban areas of USA, Canada, and Europe is the result of influx of female from rural areas to avail of first job opportunities. Farming in these developed countries is also highly mechanized and remains largely a male occupation. By contrast, the sex ratio in Asian urban areas remains male dominated due to the predominance of male migration. It is also worth nothing that in countries like India, female participation in farming activities in rural areas is fairly high. Shortage of housing, high cost of living, paucity of job opportunities, and lack of security in cities discourage women to migrate from rural to urban areas. Literacy, proportion of literate population of a country in an indicator of its socio-economic development as it reveals the standard of living, social status of females, availability of educational facilities and policies of government. Level of economic development is both a cause and consequence of literacy. In India, literacy rate denotes the percentage of population above 7 years of age who is able to read, write, and have the ability to do arithmetic calculation with understanding. Occupational structure, the working population, that is women and men, of the age group 15 to 59 take part in various occupations ranging from agriculture, forestry, rural, urban sex composition selected countries. Females per 1000 males, Zimbabwe 1032, 1087, Canada 1069, 968, Brazil 1072, 902, Nepal 938, 1008, Finland 1062, 991, New Zealand 1051, 953. Urban, rural. Fishing, manufacturing, construction, commercial transport services, communication and other unclassified services, agriculture, forestry, fishing and mining are classified as primary activities. Manufacturing as secondary trade, transport, communication and other services as tertiary, and the jobs related to research, information technology and developing ideas as quaternary activities. The proportion of working population engaged in these four sectors is a good indicator of the levels of economic development of a nation. This is because only a developed economy with industries and infrastructure can accommodate more workers in the secondary, tertiary, and quaternary sector. If the economy is still in the primitive stages, then the proportion of people engaged in primary activities would be high as it involves extraction of natural resources. Exercises. Project or activity. Construct an H-shaped pyramid for your district or state.